Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As we edge ever closer to the grand finale of the Scottish Cup this weekend, with Celtic set to take on Aberdeen in what promises to be a dramatic and emotionally charged showdown, today's video takes a slight detour. Don't worry, we'll have plenty of time to break down every tactical aspect of the final and dissect the lineups, but for now, we've got another burning issue on our hands. One that sparked debate, nostalgia, and more than a bit of frustration among the Celtic faithful. We're diving into the striker situation at Celtic, not just for the final, but looking ahead to the summer transfer window. And one name has re-emerged with the subtlety of a thunderclap, Giakoumakis. A name that until recently seemed like it had been filed away under what could have been in the annals of recent Celtic history. But now, thanks to a recent explosive interview, he's back in the spotlight, and not because of what he's doing on the pitch in Mexico, but because of what he said off it. In an exclusive interview, Giakoumakis made it crystal clear that he'd jump at the chance to return to Celtic Park. Yes, you heard that right. The big Greek striker, who once split opinions among the support, says he would love nothing more than to don the green and white hoops again. And you can imagine what that did to social media. The Celtic forums lit up. Twitter had a field day. Suddenly we were all back in that place, reliving the same old debate we've had in every window since he left. Should we bring Giakoumakis back? Now let's rewind the clock a little bit. When Giakoumakis was still at Celtic, I was a huge admirer. Back then, there weren't many of us backing him over Kyogo, but now it feels like that group has grown retrospectively. Hindsight always brings more believers, doesn't it? But I liked what he brought to the team. He was a classic number 9. Strong, aggressive, great movement, and knew how to bully defenders. He scored goals, no question about that, and he gave us a different dynamic up front. I felt like he added a level of steel to our attack that's sometimes missing when you go with a more fluid, less physical option like Kyogo. But the reality is Kyogo was untouchable at that point. He was the manager's guy. He fit the system better, and he had that connection with Ange Postecoglou that Giakoumakis just didn't have. And that's not just speculation anymore. We've now heard it straight from the source. In his interview, Giakoumakis lifted the lid on what really went down behind the scenes. He admitted that his relationship with Ange was fragile. His words, not mine. He said he knew even after becoming top scorer and winning the league that he wouldn't get the chances he felt he deserved. That was the moment he decided it was time to move on. According to him, he phoned his agent after that first full season and told him they needed to find a new club. The agent was stunned. Why would you want to leave after being top scorer in a title-winning side? But Giakoumakis had already made up his mind. He wasn't going to sit on the bench and watch someone else play week in, week out, no matter how much the fans loved him. And they did love him. That terrace chant was iconic. His celebrations, his passion, he was a fan favorite. But for him, it wasn't enough. He needed to play. The story takes a darker turn when you get into the contract side of things. Giakoumakis says that the board promised him a new deal if he performed. He delivered, they didn't. When he sat down for negotiations, they offered him a raise of just £1,000 a week. That to him was a slap in the face. He felt disrespected, felt like the club didn't appreciate what he'd done, what he'd given. So he walked away. Simple as that. No drama, no transfer saga. He just said, name your price, I'm gone. And he left for MLS later, moving to Cruz Azul in Mexico. Fast forward to now, and we got the same player publicly stating that he's open to a return. Not just open, eager, hungry, almost desperate if you read between the lines. He said he would love to wear the Celtic jersey again. And that quote about being a stupid guy if you turned down the chance to return to Celtic, that was pure emotion, raw and unfiltered. You can tell that the move away still weighs heavy on him. But the question we have to ask ourselves is, should Celtic entertain the idea? Because let's be honest, he's not saying this because he's in red-hot form. At Atlanta United, he was excellent, scored 24 goals in 43 games. But at Cruz Azul, the numbers have dipped. He's got 9 goals in nearly 40 appearances. Not terrible, but not exactly prolific either. So is this a player genuinely longing for a second shot at glory? Or is it a man looking for one last payday, one more crack at the European spotlight before time runs out? And then there's the other side of it, the sentimentality factor. Football fans love a return story. The prodigal son coming back home. but how often does it actually work out? Think about the last time a player came back and truly picked up where they left off. It's rare. And if it doesn't work, then you've wasted time, money, and possibly blocked the path for someone else who could have made a bigger impact. That's the risk. Brendan Rodgers is no fool. He knows the scale of the summer ahead. Celtic need reinforcements, especially up top. But Rodgers has his own ideas, his own way of working. And Giakoumakis is not his guy. He's not someone Brendan worked with before, not someone he's shown any interest in. So unless there's a major shift in thinking behind the scenes, I just can't see the club acting on this. As much as the fans might sing his name again and dream about that return, the reality is probably quite different. Still, it's hard not to get caught up in it a little. Because we know what Giakoumakis can do. We've seen him step up in big moments. We've seen him bully defenses, get on the end of crosses, score scrappy goals and spectacular ones. We know he's got the character, the fight, the passion. And when you compare that to some of the names we've been linked with recently, some of whom have never played in a high-pressure environment like Celtic Park, it does make you wonder if the safer bet isn't going back to someone who's done it before. That's going to be the big debate, especially over the next couple of weeks. Because as Celtic prepare for a pivotal summer, one that could define the next few years, the question of who leads the line is front and center. And while Giakoumakis is busy making his case in the media, other options are emerging too. Players like Matthias Kvistgarden from Brøndby and David Strelec from Slovan Bratislava, both reportedly on the club's radar. But unlike Giakoumakis, they're untested in Scotland. They don't know what it means to play at Celtic Park when it's rocking. They don't know what it's like to feel that pressure every week. He does. That's the one trump card he holds. Experience, familiarity, a track record. And yet for all that, I just can't shake the feeling that this ship has sailed. That bringing him back now might feel good in the short term, but it could limit the club in the long run. At 30, Giakoumakis still has a few years left in the tank, no doubt. But does he fit into the long-term vision that Brendan and the board have for this team? Or is it just a romantic idea that doesn't really hold up under scrutiny? We'll see. Football moves fast. Maybe an injury, a failed signing, or a change of heart could open the door again. Stranger things have happened. But for now, Giakoumakis' Celtic chapter feels like one that's already been written. Whether or not there's room for a sequel, that's the story we'll be watching unfold as the summer progresses. What makes this story even more intriguing is how it perfectly aligns with the uncertainty surrounding Celtic's current striker plans. The reality is Celtic will absolutely be in the market for a forward this summer. That's not a prediction, it's a necessity. With Kyogo's form becoming more unpredictable and with no one truly cementing themselves as a reliable alternative, there's a glaring need for reinforcements in that area. The names being linked to the club only reinforce that. And yet while the likes of Kvistgarden and Strelec might offer youth and potential, neither one offers the instant impact that someone like Giakoumakis could bring, at least on paper. Kvistgarden has been a regular mention across the gossip. Our columns! The Brøndby striker came out recently and stated he's ready to take the next step in his career. That wasn't some cryptic message. It was direct. I'm ready to leave, he said in a Danish TV interview, making it clear that he's prepared to move on and try something new. Celtic have been sniffing around him for a while now, and this summer may finally be the window where something materializes. But even then, signing someone from the Danish league always carries risk. It's a big leap from there to the intensity and expectations of Glasgow. Then there's David Strelec, another forward, who's been heavily linked, especially during the last January window when a bid was reportedly rejected. Strelec also made it known that he'd be open to a move this summer. He kept it diplomatic, saying he's happy at Slovan Bratislava, but also hinted that if the right offer came in, he wouldn't say no. Again, it's that same tone we've seen with other players. Open to the idea, but not quite campaigning for the move the way Giakoumakis is. And maybe that's what makes the Greek situation stand out so much. It's not just that he's open to a return. It's that he's actively trying to manifest it. He's making public statements, appealing to the fan base, reminding everyone of what he brought to the club. That's not normal. Most players would never go that far unless they were genuinely trying to force the issue. It almost feels like he knows the door is closing and he's giving it one last knock before it shuts completely. Still, even with all this emotion, the professional side of things has to take precedence. Celtic's recruitment in recent years has become much more data-driven, much more about long-term value and resale potential. Giakoumakis at 30 doesn't really fit that profile. And even though he claims he would come back and finish the job he started, the question lingers, would the club see it that way? Or would it be viewed as a backward step? The other concern is his stability. Since leaving Celtic, he's barely settled. A short stint at Atlanta United followed by a move to Mexico, and now he's already talking about leaving again. That doesn't scream reliability. It paints the picture of a player who, while talented, maybe struggles to stay rooted for long. And for a club like Celtic that's trying to build something sustainable under Rodgers, that matters. And yet part of me gets it. Giakoumakis clearly has unfinished business in his mind. He wants closure. Maybe he regrets leaving when he did. Maybe he thought the grass would be greener only to realize that Celtic was where he truly felt at home. You hear that in his words when he talks about the fans, about the connection, about the meaning of playing at Parkhead. That's not just PR talk. That's someone speaking from experience, from memory, from something deeper. It's all incredibly complex. And that's what makes the debate so engaging. There's no easy answer, no clear right or wrong. Just a lot of moving pieces and a striker who's thrown his hat back into the ring. Whether Celtic take him up on it or not remains to be seen. But make no mistake, this won't be the last time his name comes up between now and the end of the window. Not by a long shot. Before we proceed, subscribe to our channel and enable notifications to receive all exclusive news about Celtic FC. Don't miss any details about your favorite team. It's extremely important for Celtic FC fans. Whispers from Parkhead are growing louder as strong rumors suggest Jamie McGrath is poised to sign a 4-year contract with Celtic. The 28-year-old Republic of Ireland international who has impressed in recent spells with Aberdeen and Dundee. United is now said to be in the final stages of agreeing personal terms with the Glasgow Giants. Sources close to the deal indicate McGrath sees the move as a major step forward in his career, with the allure of playing European football and competing for domestic silverware proving too tempting to resist. The attacking midfielder has long been admired by Hoops boss Brendan Rodgers, who reportedly views McGrath as a versatile and experienced addition to bolster Celtic's midfield options ahead of a demanding season. McGrath, known for his technical ability, vision, and dead ball prowess, has been one of the most consistent performers in the Scottish Premiership over the past few seasons. His potential arrival at Celtic Park comes amid ongoing questions about the futures of Matt O'Reilly and Reo Hatate, both of whom have drawn interest from clubs on the continent. McGrath's potential to slot in seamlessly with Rodgers' system makes him an ideal candidate should squad changes unfold in the coming weeks. Fans have taken to social media to react with cautious optimism, noting McGrath's experience and pedigree while questioning whether he can thrive under the pressure. That comes with wearing the famous green and white. If confirmed, the transfer would mark a significant personal achievement for McGrath, who began his senior career in Ireland before making the move to Scotland in 2020. Celtic have yet to release an official statement, but several reputable sources suggest the announcement could come before the end of the week. With the Hoops eager to strengthen their squad ahead of a Champions League campaign and defend their domestic crown, Jamie McGrath's addition could prove a shrewd and timely bit of business. Hello, fan! Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel, as it means a lot to Celtic FC. Also, share your opinion about the news in the comments below. See you in the next video.